Good morning, everyone. Pastor Vic here on a beautiful Saturday morning. I'm just looking out my window there, and it's gorgeous blue skies. I don't know what the temperature's like, but we'll soon see as I head out to the football later on. But it's, Saturday morning. I'm sitting here in my study and I'm working on the sermon for tomorrow, 10:30 at Langbride Community Centre. It's Murray Grace Fellowship. If you want to join in online, we'll probably be starting about 11:15 when we'll go into our live sermon and our communion. So, just getting ready for the sermon tomorrow. It's the third in a series about what you have in your hands. And I just thought I would come on and share this morning some of the things that we've been talking about during the week. So getting ready for the sermon, and I thought I'd have a break, have a coffee. And I was just thinking about all the builds that people have been adding on to my sermon from last week, and it's been fantastic. You know, I always say that the sermon should be the first word, it should never be the last. The sermon is meant to get the church discussing the word, to get the church looking at it themselves and studying out them for themselves and getting their own revelation, and then sharing it one with another. So I'm doing this because I've been planning doing this for a wee while, but I just never got around to it. I thought what I'll do is I'm going to share these revelations that other people are having on the sermon for last Sunday. So I thought I'd do that just now. See, we meet during the week as well as on a Sunday morning at Murray Grace Fellowship. We meet online on a Monday night, we have communion. We'll meet on a Thursday night when we have communion, and then we have Bible study. And that Bible study is always discussing the sermon from the week before. And then we also have communion on a Saturday morning. And so we're just finished that. And now I'm getting ready for the sermon tomorrow, but just having a wee break. So every Thursday night, we discuss the sermon from the Sunday. But you know what? We also discuss it on a Monday night and a Saturday morning as well. And we get some fantastic builds on the revelation that I've had. But you know what? Other people in the church, other than the pastor, other than the teacher, can have some really great revelations. And that needs to be shared with a wider church as well. So last week I was preaching on David and Goliath from 1 Samuel 17. And I was preaching with it in the context of using what you got in your hands. So David used what was in his hands, just a slingshot and some small stones, and defeated that huge giant. He used something small, insignificant in the physical. He remembered his covenant with God. He looked into the spiritual. He used what he had, and he defeated that giant. So he used what was in his hands, and he knew his partnership with God. That's what I was trying to teach on Sunday. But then we've had some fantastic builds on that. So Evelyn came along on Thursday night and pointed out that David didn't go along to get in the fight. He was going bringing food from his father to his brothers. He wasn't actually there to fight, but he took the opportunity when he was there. This opportunity opened itself up to him for him to minister, for him to serve, for him to do something supernatural and mighty. And he did it. He was there to deliver food, not there to fight, but he served, he acted when the opportunity arose. And that's really good. And Evelyn was saying the same as for us. You know, we need to be prepared wherever we go, whatever we're doing, to serve, to minister, to do something different that we hadn't planned. And the great thing is that all through our life, we could be learning things that we might use in that opportunity. You know, we're learning all the time. Don't know why we're learning, but we may be put into a situation where we could use that. And that really spoke to Evelyn. And of course, it spoke to us as well. And then Sean had a point. He pointed out that in verse 28, David's brother was really quite disparaging of him, made some real derogatory comments. But David wasn't discouraged. He just carried on. He said, well, what have I done? There's something here to do. And I think that's a great learning point for us as well. And that do not be discouraged when you get negative comments. And especially when those negative comments come from people really close to you. like family, like close friends. David wasn't discouraged. He knew there was a job to do. He knew he could do it. He got on and did the job. He wasn't discouraged. That was another really good build. That really spoke to me. And then, and this is a great one, two people come to me independently with the same revelation. So Nunzi and Michelle, during the sermon when I was talking about David and what he said and what he did before fighting Goliath, David actually said to Goliath, I am going to cut off your head. But he didn't have a sword. And they both spotted that and thought there's something significant there. And we all know that David did kill Goliath with a stone, or slayed him, knocked him out or whatever. And then he cut his head off with Goliath's sword. And they were saying, you know, there's a thing there about provision, about God's provision. And that provision, you may not see that provision there at the start of whatever you've taken part in, but the provision is there. David started to run at Goliath, didn't he? And then he loaded his slingshot and fired. But he ran, he started his plan of action without knowing that final provision. But it was there. God provided it for him. David said, I'm going to cut your head off. He slayed Goliath, and then he used Goliath's sword to cut off his head. That provision was there where the action was. And I really like that. So, you know, if you think you've got a mission from God, but you've not got all that you need, you know what? Start, act, move, and you'll find that the provision will be there. Amen. And then this morning, we had a fantastic communion this morning. We always have communion at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning if you want to join us. And Michelle led communion this morning. She was out in nature, this lake that's near Langbride and Urquhart. I can't remember what it's called. And it was a beautiful location. So she did communion from there. It was fantastic. But she spoke about David and Goliath being a picture of Jesus slaying the enemy, of Jesus defeating Satan through his finished work on the cross. That's a fantastic picture. And while Michelle was talking about that, verse 8 jumped out at me. This is Goliath. It says, and he stood up and cried unto the armies of Israel and said unto them, why are you come out to set your battle in array? Am not I a Philistine, and you servants to Saul? And then listen to what Goliath says. Choose you a man for you, and let him come down to me. Now, that just spoke to me of the enemy speaking to God. And that, choose a man, send him down to me. What did God do to bring us redemption? What did God do to bring about reconciliation and forgiveness so that we might be able to move into salvation and righteousness? God sent down Jesus as a man, sent him down to earth, and Jesus came. The word became flesh and dwelt among us. What a picture. And then if you think about David, what was David doing there? His father had sent him on a mission to bring provision for his brothers. Oh, that's a picture. That's typology. And I didn't see that when I was preaching on Sunday or preparing last week. But I didn't see any of this. But Evelyn brought something up. Sean brought something up. Nunzi Michelle brought something up. Other people were bringing things up, but I just wanted to highlight those four. It's wonderful when the church comes together and discusses the word and shares revelation, and we get deeper meaning and deeper understanding. The sermon should not be the final word. We shouldn't just sit every Sunday and listen to what the pastor says and say, yeah, that's it, brilliant. Although that's a good thing to do. We should be going away, looking at it for ourselves. And you know what? There may be times, and there are times in our church when people will come to me and say, well, actually, I didn't get that, Vic. I kind of think it may be meaning this. And we have a discussion about it, and sometimes we disagree. But hey, that's allowed. That'll bring deeper revelation and deeper understanding as well. So that was some points that our fellowship have been bringing up during the week. On David and Goliath, 1 Samuel 17. I'm going to continue this tomorrow. Murray Grace Fellowship, 10:30, Langbride, 11:15, round about then if you want to join us online. I'm going to be talking the third sermon in this series about what we have in our hands. And I'm going to spend a little bit of time looking at this concept of looking up. Remember when Jesus, before he fed the 5,000, he took what he had in his hands and he looked up. He looked to the spiritual possibilities. He opened his spiritual eyes. What am I able to do in the spiritual here? Let's look at the things of God. So that's what I'm going to look at tomorrow. So you're very welcome to join us face to face. Bring a mask, bring your own communion. Or, of course, you're very welcome to join us online. So bless you. I hope you have a great day, whatever you're doing today. Have a great day tomorrow as well. And I will see you all real soon. God bless. Bye now.